Hello, I'm Zoe Pearson, and today I'm going to show you only a couple of objects, pictures, or symbols that I think look like or are courage. I will also be explaining why I think that day, time, object, picture, or symbol shows courage. Let's begin. Malcolm X, an African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist. Malcolm grew up in a life of crime, and at age 20 he went to jail. In jail, he learned about the Nation of Islam. Malcolm's beliefs changed drastically. He once supported the separation of black and white Americans, but eventually spoke out against racism. I think he was courageous because he stood up for what he believed in, even if it was against the group he supported. Helen Keller was both blind and deaf. Keller was not born blind and deaf, but at 19 months old, she had an illness that left her blind and deaf. Anne Sullivan was her teacher that taught her how to communicate. She was the first blind and deaf person to earn a degree in college. Helen also wrote 12 books. I believe she was courageous because although she was blind and deaf, she was still determined to get an education. After she had gotten her education, she inspired people with her story and fought for the rights of people with disabilities. Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was a leader in the nonviolent fight for India's independence from British rule. His philosophy of nonviolence inspired the world to get civil rights through peace. One of my favorite quotes of Gandhi's is, "It's easy to stand out in a crowd, but it takes courage to stand alone." I believe he was courageous because he protested, knowing there would be people with guns or weapons, or that he could be sent to jail, but he still told people of and believed nonviolence. Mother Teresa was a Catholic nun who dedicated her life to others. She won the Nobel Peace Prize for serving, quote, the poorest of the poor. Her Missions of Charity organization has 4,500 sisters active in 133 countries. I believe she was courageous because she helped people that no one was interested in helping because of how poor they were. Oskar Schindler was a businessman who saved many Jewish people from concentration camps during World War II. One of my favorite quotes by him is, "I was now resolved to do everything in my power to defeat the system." I believe he was courageous because he saved so many people knowing that it was not his problem and that he was putting his life at stake helping Jews. The color red. Red is a color you see every day. It can also have special importance. In politics, the color red can mean power. It is the color warriors paint on their faces. The color red increases your passion, energy, and force. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela fought South African apartheid. Mandela served 27 years in prison for fighting against racism. After his release, he became the president of South Africa. One of my favorite quotes by Mandela is, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." I believe Nelson Mandela was courageous because he was willing to go to prison because of how strongly he believed in a cause. These are a few of the things that remind me of courage. I am inspired by people who fight for the rights of others, believe in peace, and overcome great obstacles. Thank you for watching What I Think is Courage.